Bum, 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 ba-da-dum. Hello, I'm the Chris who plays games. Welcome to the stream. Tonight we're going to be playing a game called Toki from the NES. The special thing about Toki is it's actually the third game that was ever recommended to me in my game suggestion form, including the link of every video that I've got out here. We're going back to the basics. So tonight we'll be playing Toki, playing through as a monkey and beating some stuff up. So thank you all very much for coming. It's good to see you all here tonight. And let's get into the game. Let's do that. Also, we're gonna turn the RPG off because I don't think it's working. Go away. Yeah, we'll just start this baby up. So from 1991, Taito created this game, licensed by Tad Corp. Interesting thing about Tad, I actually used to work in a text adventure development system called Tads. Not at all related, just thought it was an interesting thing. But yeah, welcome Leif and Mr. 32. The evil hand of Bashtar has seized lovely Miho. Her beloved, the mighty Toki, has also been dealt a wicked blow. Now reduced to a lowly ape, Toki must risk a perilous journey to free Miho and regain his manhood. I mean, I don't feel like you need to be sharing your manhood in this video game, man, but, you know, if that's what you're gonna do. Also, like, are you spitting fire? Like, you're just spitting? Is that what we're doing here? We're just spitting things into the air? That's how it's gonna work? Okay, fine. Oh, fuck. Alright, well, that did not go so well for me so far. That's alright. That's alright. Anyway, yeah, so I know almost nothing about Toki other than it has a monkey in it, and that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge. So we'll see if we learn anything new. I guess Toki is this monkey dude. And the monkey dude's girlfriend was taken away by an evil wizard, and then, you know, because he didn't like me, he turned me into a newt. But then it got better, as they would say. Alright, I have a helmet on, which saved me from attack there. Uh-oh, my helmet's dying. Alright, my helmet's gone. And I lost my, my weapon as well. Oh, that did not go well. Yeah, I guess he gets invincibility when he picks up the football helmet, I guess, maybe? I don't know. This game is really confusing. I don't understand why a football helmet would be the way that I would provide a monkey with protection, but apparently that's... What? Seriously? I didn't come anywhere close to that. Whatever. Oh god. You know what, red thing? You get got. There we go. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and destroy these hands and see how that goes. Anyway, yeah, so it is Monday, October something, 17th? I feel like it's the 17th. That might be wrong. Okay, so we killed some enemies here. One problem I have with this game is that this whole, like, flickeriness that we got going on is driving me a little bit batty. But we'll figure it out. Hello, Inu Yugi, welcome to the stream. What? Like, what? I mean, no, I'm not going to use one of my 4 continues on the very first level. The 16th, that's pretty much the same day. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, welcome. It's Monday, so we're at the start of a new week. This week, what am I gonna get done this week? This week, I am going to add a new error type to our dashboard to track in YouTube land. I'm going to work on, I'm gonna see, I don't know. So Mrs. CPG, of course, is still laid up with her injury. So she is laid up in bed as a result of her broken foot. She's got surgery next Tuesday, and so I'm gonna be figuring out whether I can take off next week, for example, perhaps. So I'd taken some time off last week to kind of get her back here, and I'm probably going to do the same next week to help her kind of deal with recovering from her surgery, because I expect that is going to be a difficult experience for her. Like, seriously, like, I don't like the hitboxes in this game. Like, it feels like everything can hit me, even if I'm nowhere close to it, which is a little bit frustrating. Alright. Oh, fuck. That was dumb. Okay, that one was my fault. I accept responsibility for that! Okay, don't get got. There we go. Let's get my strawberry here. See how that goes. Just don't hook up to things, Leif. It's better to just not hook up to things. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna add support for new error type tracking into our error code base. One of the things that I've been doing since I started at YouTube, one of my first projects at YouTube was actually to do better error tracking for our clients. So when I started, each of our clients would deliver errors as a set of numerical error codes, and those error codes were, you know, different per client. So, you know, if you were in the HTML5 player, you would have a different set of error code numbers than the Flash player, and they were numbers, so you had to like look them up in a database, and they were not really easy to understand, and other things like that, which meant that we, practically speaking, just didn't do a lot with errors. Oh, I have like bouncy feet now. I got those happy feet that takes the lowdown beat and makes you go dancing. All right, take that, Ghost. I mean, it's not really anything that special. It's just a pretty standard platformer so far. All right, I got my football helmet going here. My monkey is spitting out poop again to attack things, so that's all good. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. Take that, take that, take that. Oh no! Well, that did not work well. I think that, oh, I don't have the bunny shoes anymore, so I can't get my helmet. That sucks. Oh, fuck. I need to remember that when I shoot the tentacle monsters that they blow up in my face. I keep forgetting that. So I think on this guy, I've got to bounce on his back. That's my feeling here. Yes. Okay. We'll continue for now, but I think it's going to make me start back at the beginning. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so that's good to know. We'll probably end up going back and using those credits again. Hello, Jose! Welcome to the stream! Pulling out those purple monkeys because, you know, I'm a monkey. I'm an ape. I am Toki, the magical ape. I mean, I'm not magical because I'm an ape, but instead I am an ape because of magic, which is kind of the same thing a little bit. I don't really understand the enemies here or a lot of things about this game, I guess, really. But that's okay. You know, you gotta not understand things sometimes. Everybody needs somebody sometimes. Everybody needs somebody sometimes. Oh, damn. Okay, so I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to get past him when he's like jumping in my direction, but I feel like maybe that was not the solution. Alright, we'll take some of these coins. Now I've got 7 coins. I don't know what that's gonna do, but feels like a good thing. That's right. Take that, foe. Uh-oh. Alright, well, that was not my ideal state, but I'll have to take it. Alright. I got an extra heart and an extra heart. Excellent! Dougie, I believe that he is throwing shit. You know, I talk shit, this monkey throws shit. No, it's coming out of his mouth. So I'm assuming that the moment that he's just spitting. Sometimes when I pick up other items, it's more questionable. Like now, I'm still spitting, but they're much larger spitballs. So that's a little bit concerning. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. Yeah, I mean, like, that seems like a pretty run-of-the-mill NES platformer to me, as far as I'm concerned. You just do a couple of things and stuff happens, so, you know, there you go. I guess we are coming up to the Extra Life day of streaming not too far from now. I kind of set aside my thoughts on that. One of the things that I've done for the past, ever since I started my channel, in fact, my first kind of start to my channel was... Jose, why did you time out Dougie? I don't understand. Did I miss something? Oh. Dougie, I'm sorry you're timed out. Jose made a mistake. Blame YouTube. Somehow. I don't know how, but it's always YouTube's fault. Hello, Chris GC8, by the way. Welcome, and Matus as well. It's good to see all of you here. Get the Switch. That's right. You gotta show us some beatdowns. Anyway, yeah, so Dougie, I do not know, like, he's clearly spitting. And he can spit all kinds of funky things. He's got these weird, like, sine wave items. I wonder if the NES had, like, a sine wave function. like, I don't know, modern Intel chipsets have all kinds of weird, like, operators, so you can just be like, oh yeah, I just want you to compute the sign of this, you know, number, or other things like that, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's fine, I can do that. Like, I can do all kinds of funky math things because it's built right into my chip. And then you got things like the SSE2 instructions, and DMX instructions, and all kinds of stuff like that, so... So yeah, I wonder what kind of fancy instructions. I actually know very little about the chips inside the NES, like what these things are programmed in, or anything else like that. I do know that some people have actually done C-based programming for the NES. So they've done, you know, like created C-based development tool chains, but I expect that like most of the development for the NES was done in a lower level language than that, just because they always had to be squeezing things out. It's actually an interesting story. Even like Crash Bandicoot, it turns out, the original Crash Bandicoot, one of the things that they did is that they would pack the like the art assets and everything else like that, because they had to be able to get these things into kind of, they could only load, you know, so many megabytes of data at a time on the PlayStation. So they had like 4 meg of RAM or something like that, and they had to get everything that they needed to do in that. I don't remember exactly what it was, something along those lines. And so they had to put everything that they wanted to have active at any given time into that. And when making Crash Bandicoot, one of the ways that they did that was actually just to they would like randomly bin pack the items. They'd have like a statocastic, whatever, you know, bin packer that would pack these assets. And so if you like changed anything in the level, it would sometimes have to, you know, completely repack it. And sometimes they would find like, okay, like the random number that used to work before no longer works now, and we can't fit the assets that we need to load and run this level into 4 meg of RAM. Like, no matter what we do, we've let the computer run for, you know, 3 days trying to fit all this stuff in, and it's not working. So we're going to have to randomly permute the level and hope that, you know, the new one is slightly easier to pack. And things like that are just crazy to me. Like, working on modern computers where things are not like that at all, it's just a crazy idea to me that we would do that. So, hello, Van Helsing. Made bold by his recent conquest, Toki enters the blazing heart of the Cavern of Fire in search for Miho. Here, he will face a deadly test against Mulgler, the beastly guardian of this underground inferno. Hello, Proto Sam. How is it going? Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Alright, so I've got like a limited amount of extra firepower here. Oh god, and you missed me. Missed me, now you gotta kiss me. Proto Sam, I was thinking about you earlier today. I was describing, you know, my experience with YouTube recommendations, and one of the things that I've noticed is that there's a little bit less live content than there used to be. I was mentioning how it used to be that I would see, like, you know, I would see live gaming, and then I would see, you know, like a channel that had a first element that was a live stream. And for whatever reason, like, I just, like, you were the first one that came to mind for me. You know, I've seen you a bunch on my homepage recommendations. Like, you and Brad are the two, I feel like, who go live, who I see the most on my homepage. As, like, you know, YouTube's like, oh, you want to watch this channel, blah, blah, blah. So, Dougie, you didn't do anything wrong. It was totally a mistake by Jose. You're totally fine. There's no rules against swearing here. You didn't break any rules or anything else like that. It was just a mistake. Sorry about that. But yeah, so as I was describing, I was like, yeah, it used to be I would see like Proto Sam or Brad Pritchard, and then I would see live gaming, and then I would see whatever, and now I feel like it's more rare that I see 2 shelves in a row that have live streams as the first entry. So I think YouTube has probably changed something in recommendations to be a little bit less aggressive on that, which frankly, I mean, I know that a lot of people, you know, especially in kind of early 2016 and other things like that, were like, how is anyone gonna find my content? There's never any live on the homepage, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of felt like that had gone too much the other way recently, especially with like The Simpsons and Rick and Morty and all these other things. I felt like I was sometimes just kind of overwhelmed by lives, so I think that doing a little bit less aggressive treatment there is kind of reasonable. Oh no! I got pushed off. So, I think this game only has 6 stages, and I'm already in the 3rd one. And while I've used 2 of my continues, my ability to cheat is pretty legendary, so I'm not exactly sure if this is gonna be a 4-hour game. I'm used to, like, you know, so I always look up long plays for the games that I play pretty much before I play them. And basically, on NES stuff, if I see, like, a 30-minute platformer, I'm like, that's probably gonna be about 4 hours for me. Like, that just seems to be how it works in general. But it seems like maybe this one is a little bit shorter than that, so I don't have a good plan. So we should all come up with a plan. Like, you should tell me what I should do after this, if that's an option or requirement. It could be that the other 3 levels, like, I have had this happen before, where it's like, oh yeah, you play this game, and yeah, the first 3 levels, those are easy, but the second 3 levels, those take all night. Like, you will spend 47 minutes on the final level, like, the final level's single boss, and there's just nothing you can do about it. That's just the way it's gonna be. So, I could be wrong, but it's possible we're going to finish this game a little bit early. So think about what else you want. Do you want to see another NES game? Should I play some more TIE Fighter? I shouldn't play some more TIE Fighter. Should I play some SimCity? I don't know. Monkeys and shit. I don't know if I have a lot more monkeys and shit games. This is the problem there. Oh no! Alright, this jump seems like maybe it's going to be a little bit rough. Wario World. So the problem with Wario World is that, like, playing 1 round of Wario World, like, takes me an hour and 45 minutes. And while I appreciate that, you know, some people are happy with that, it's pretty much, it doesn't actually change that much. Like, I enjoy it as a game, and I do like something that I'm good at, which is so rare for me. But at the same time, I don't know if it's actually interesting or exciting to watch me just do what is the same thing from level to level to level for an hour and 45 minutes. Hello, Jessica! Well, Sandwich, I would never give up on gaming. That would make no sense, because I enjoy playing games. But I probably won't make it to 10K. You know, a lot of my... Oh, hold on a second. Hi.
You, like, make sure I put 7 tomorrow, cause, well, the house is 7:20 tomorrow, cause if I get there past it, and no.
Yep.
Won't accept, don't take it there, then.
That's all there is to it. Super Monkey Ball. So everything that you've ever told me about Super Monkey Ball Adventures, Matus, does not, like, make it seem like a really encouraging game. I mean, I could be wrong, but I have not gotten the impression from you that this is a game that you look at with a whole lot of well-thought and well-placed love. Okay, apparently this guy burps the word burp, so that seems legit. No, Proto Sam, that's between you and the developer. I mean, if Nintendo wanted to, of course, they could, like, give a strike or whatever, but I wouldn't really assume that they would do that. But yeah, no, YouTube has no... Unlike Twitch, YouTube is not really paternalistic in its policies. Like, we have community guidelines, but there isn't anything gaming specific about them. So, you know, it's limited to the same kind of general stuff as anything else. You know, you gotta worry about copyright, and of course, you know, all of the normal YouTube things, from, you know, hate speech to violent content and other things like that. But in general, YouTube is a pretty open platform for you to do just about anything you want, and does not implement other things like that. People sometimes get upset about that. They're like, oh, YouTube won't implement policies about cheating or anything else like that. Although overall, I've seen recently more kind of the community pushing back. It's like, why do you think that this is up to YouTube to do? Wouldn't that be something better done by the game developer or something else like that? Which has been nice. I mean, that's really how I feel, so I appreciate when people think the way I think. It makes me feel like I'm right, so. Yeah, so I like Super Monkey Ball stuff, but the adventures portion of that seemed odd. Like, I don't mind that, but I was never very good at Super Monkey Ball either, so... Alright, get out of here. I don't like you. Weird white face thing. God damn it. Or I'll use my credits. You think I should play SimCity? So the problem that I have with sim games is pretty much the same problem with all of them, is that I tend to get super wrapped up in them, and then people are like, why aren't you talking, like, why are you just sitting here? And I'm like, oh my god, I'm boring! Which, I know really nobody, anything else like that? I do not know, Nixie, but I think that that is a reasonable question that I think would be worth asking. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to make him panic yet, so, wow. It's as good as this one, possibly worse. Hello, Soy Bomb. And so Louise, it's good to see you. Oh, fucking hell. That's what I get for looking at chat. I'm gonna use all my credits just getting past this stupid guy, who I don't seem to be able to kill, so fuck it. Time to go. No, God! Damn it. I got him! Haha! Got him! Got him! Yeah, excellent. You know, Soy, like, I love you very much, but your tendency to play games that are absolutely atrocious is one that I, while not playing games that are not, like, is just one that I will never understand. Like, I understand, like, okay, we're gonna make this, today is just gonna be about bad games, like, whatever. You know, I've done a couple of different Atari nights where all I've done is play different Atari games. I've played, you know, E.T. I've played, you know, the Atari version of Pac-Man. I've played a lot of different things, but I have not, you know, sunk to the depths of Xena Warrior Princess, and I do not think that that is something which will ever happen. Alright, let's not die. God damn it. Echo was bad. But Echo I didn't know would be bad. Echo I thought was going to be, like, I like the idea behind Echo. I like the, you know, the gameplay. I mean, I don't really, no, that's not true. I didn't like the gameplay. I wanted to like the gameplay. You know, I've done a lot. I really wanted to love that game, but it's just terrible and long. Oh my god. That game is like, I only got to like the 4th level in 2.5 hours of playing. Like while using like cheats and guides. The game is like 27 stages and they just get longer and longer and longer. It is crazy. I do not understand. Like, did anyone complete that game back when it was new? Was that ever something someone did? Like, now at least you have, you know, guides and maps and all those other things. Although Ernie Whalen seemed to be able to like pull it out, so there probably were people who did that. I just like, I can't even imagine. Fuck. You and your frickin' tusks, man. Let's call you Raymond Tusk. There we go. Oh god. Oh, we got me. you don't think Tusk Boomerang? I'm not sure that they just disappear, that they do this in general. Okay, so this is fine. We are what 24 minutes into the stream, and I've run out of my first set of continues. So, while I could have tossed some cheating in there, I did figure that maybe we should play this game for more than just 20 minutes. I just kind of assumed that this would be like most things, and I would have a much harder time getting as far as I did in this game. So, while we have the ability to cheat, and I am never one to do that. And the other thing about this is that the continues are so, like, it continues you, like, on the screen that you're on. And that level of, you know, it's a very aggressive level of continue support. You know, I'm used to something a little bit more punishing. It almost feels like, you know, the only way you're punished for mistakes is by running out of continues. And while I did run out of, you know, credits, at the same time, it feels like it's just too easy. I mean, I ran out of credits, but it's on my first playthrough, and I made it, you know, 60% of the way through the game. So, making it 60% of the way through the game on your first playthrough with no, like, history of playing the game is a bit more aggressive than I would say is typically what I want from a game. I want a little bit more challenge than that. So this seems like it's going to be basically a 45-minute game, and that's just not much, you know? Damn it. So Soy, like humor I'm down with, right? Like, I'm totally down with, like, oh my god, this game is so terrible. But it, just like, you know, I feel like sometimes you might actually just want to enjoy playing a game and not feel like you have to be fighting it every step of the way, which is how I kind of feel about the games you play now, is like, you just you're constantly fighting. I don't know. I would just find it frustrating, I think. This game's decent. I mean, it's nothing special, but it's a fine platformer. Yeah, I was standing on the flying scrotum. I mean, I'm a big scrotum stander in general. God damn it, I saw that coming. Saw that coming a half second too late. I was like, I know there's gonna be a guy here, but where is he? And then he was there. Oh shit. So I get for looking at the chat and trying to understand what Jess is talking about. I have no idea if you're a pot delivery person. Just for the record. I know Jess has an answer, but I don't have an opinion. Oh, damn it. Did not get through him. I mean, you do play a decent game sometimes. I mean, you played through all the Mega Mans in one night, so that was certainly decent. I don't know. I feel like you do a lot of playing these really crappy retro games, and there, no doubt there's some, there's something there. I don't know. I think it would just drive me crazy, but then again, I'm crazy all the time, so. I played Jackal. Yes. Jackal is a shooter, like a. I feel like I played Jackal in one of my like vertical shooter games. Does that sound plausible? I might not have, now that I think about it. I know it's come up, but I can't remember off the top of my head if I actually played it or if it's just come up. So, Soybomb, what did you like, how did you feel about Papers, Please? Your tweet sounded positive. It was good. And I assume it wasn't too soy inappropriate. Okay, I think I probably have not played Jackal, or if I have, I played very little of it. Like I just played a few seconds or something like that. I mean, just to be clear, Proto Sam and Soy Bomb are both way better at games than I am, and so like me sitting here telling them what to play is kind of silly. Like, you know, there are games that they will play that I would just be like, no, I'm never ever touching that. So what? Come on, I didn't get away from that. Stupid hitboxes. Oh, okay. Alright, Mr. Neptune. So I think that, for me, I started playing Papers, Please originally back in probably 2011, 2012 sometime. I don't remember exactly. And, at the time, I was working on managing a team of, external annotators for search results when I was working at Nokia. And so the task of so they were basically assigned the task of like, here's a search query, like figure out what the right answer for it is, or figure out, you know, how good is this answer for the search query. And I managed the software and I managed the team and everything else like that. And so I had to do a lot of that type of kind of like coaching of kind of rote work tasks and everything else like that. And it was kind of funny that at the time I would use like Papers, Please to relax because, you know, my task of filling out boring paperwork over and over in a very repetitive way apparently was too much like work, and so I had to do it in a video game instead, which is kind of silly. You know, even at the time it was kind of silly. So both the other manager of the team and I got into playing Papers, Please, and it was you know, it was amusing. Oh, god damn it. Glory Torstoska. Yeah, so getting the heart container and then getting the heart and then getting the heart container was not the correct order. I should have done that the other way around, but so it goes. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Soy Bomb. I do not believe that there is a massively multiplayer Papers, Please yet. Just call it click work. That would be what I would do. Alright. Oh, god damn it. Man steals 34 cows from farm. So Jess and I were watching John Oliver earlier tonight, and there was discussion of Equifax. So it's like a Fox Business News report, and the person who was on the Fox Business News report. Okay, so it would have been really smart for me to grab the invincibility before trying to attack this guy. That would have been a smart move. But I got it. That's fine. And no, Cowdizzle is not like being called a real cow. It's a very sore spot for him. And so there's this guy on Fox Business News who's like, I can't believe that no businesses have kind of told Equifax to fuck off yet. And he was just wearing this hideous, atrocious like cow suit. So he's like a black and white spotted cow who was on the Fox Business News report talking about Equifax's performance, and it was like, what is this? Like, what world do we live in where the sane information is coming from Fox Business News and this guy who's dressed like a freaking cow, and not like, you know, big fat whatever. This is just like, you know, he was just dressed in like a black and white check. It was so strange. Alright. What are you... Alright. Oh no! I didn't want to jump on that. God damn it. Woo! Alright, I got some wiggly weapons here. You know, this way, down I go to this way. Anyway, so happy Monday, everybody. I'm happy to have all of you here, as always, and I hope that you're happy to be here. If you aren't happy to be here, you should tell me how I could make you happier to be here so I can ignore you and tell you to fuck off. I mean, no, so I can assist you in your stay. So I can give you the pleasure to be here that you truly deserve as a member of the community of Chris Plays Games. I'm happy to have the ability to help anyone who's here. No, you do not want to go down that road. I mean, you could go down it once. I did it for a little while. You know, it's definitely a way to kind of grow, you know, see some new faces. And certainly for a little while, I actually had some, god damn it, regulars who I liked who had come in during the Mario Maker streams. So, you know, it's something to think about. All right, can we, nope. So I think to get that one up, I'd have had to bounce off those butterflies, and I just did not have the timing right. Shit! So the unfortunate thing is that I'm gonna die here, and then I think I'm gonna lose my heart container, which sucks. Yep. Nixie, I don't know. I think we have to wait for more beer in the evening, and since it's Monday, my beer plans are pretty narrow. But I can take your request into account. So Soybomb, my girlfriend, something, Miha, was stolen by an evil wizard, and when I was attempting to rescue her, the evil wizard turned me into a gorilla. So I am actually a person named Toki, and I am attempting to rescue my girlfriend from an evil wizard named, I don't know, or something. Miho. Oh, god damn it. Alright. Yeah, Miho is admittedly an odd name to use for someone who is I don't know, girlfriend or something like that. Miho in Spanish means my son, I think. Hello, Brad Pritchard. Welcome to the stream. What's up with the scrotum and stuff? From fire into ice, Toki's mission takes him into the forbidden reaches of the Ice Palace. After swimming the underwater passageway, he must emerge to fight the frozen monster, Zarzamoth. Miho. Zarzamoth. Zarzamoth at least is a cool name. I'll give them that. I mean, Blaster Master is just I don't like Blaster Master. I think it's just that it has too much backwards and, like, they just tried to reuse too much of the game in order to, you know, I don't know. That was my feeling with Blaster Master is I was like, this is a giant maze and I have to go all the way back to Zone 1 to get to Zone 4 because now I have a slightly different weapon or item that will allow me to get to the top of that stupid hill. It felt really dumb. And I mean, it's games of the time, I get it, but still bothered me. Oh god. God damn it. I don't know what these coins do. I have like 12 coins. I have 14? Does that give me anything? Or is it just, you know, random coins? I don't know. Oh god! Get away from me! Alright, I'll land on your head. All good. Yeah, I should get Blaster Master Zero. So now I actually have I have the cam link. So I could theoretically actually play something from the Switch on stream. Okay, so destroying this guy did me no favors. He did not drop any weapons or items or anything else like that. So I'm just gonna say, screw it, fuck you, god damn it. I did avoid getting hit there when I killed him, but I feel like there's maybe an easier way to avoid that, like just don't be right where he's going to attack. Fuck! Coming at me from behind. Dodging, dodging, dodging. Alright, invincibility. Excellent. Alright, so I got invincibility. Worried me for a second there. But which Elgato were you using, Proto Sam? Because the HD60, rather than the HD60S or the Camlink, are very different beasts. Because the Razer Ripsaw is a USB 3 capture device, and so that's more akin to the Camlink or the HD60S. I think he's gonna appear on top of me. Oh. I think I want this first, followed by that. There we go. The crashing of thunder leads Toki to the dense canopy of the dark jungle. Fighting his way through the tangled vines, Toki faces a deadly contest against an old enemy with pouncing Bashtar. If he wins, Miho won't be far. Yeah, so for mobility aids, Jess has both a walker and a knee scooter. The knee scooter you've probably seen in like airports or other things like that before. It's designed for people who have some kind of leg injury, and you basically just kind of scoot along on it. You put one leg up on it, and then you scoot along on the other one. The problem, of course, is that in our house, this doesn't work very well because, you know, it's an 1850s house not designed for those with mobility problems, and so our upstairs, like, literally has a hallway that is effectively not much wider than my shoulders, and attempting to turn this, like, you know, this wide turning radius, you know, knee scooter is like, oh, cool, I have to, like, lift up the front and move it in order to get the thing to move around. Oh god, I don't like this at all. There we go. Oh, I bet I don't destroy that guy, because I'm going to bounce off him and get my helmet. Oh, no I'm not. Come on! The tank chair will not fit in our house, Van Helsing! Oh, god damn it. Thank God for invincibility. Uh-oh, my invincibility is ending. Oh no! Oh well. No, we were gonna go down to New York, Jess, and he was gonna come meet us. Hello, Jimmy the Wrench. Oh god, watch the screen, watch the screen. Yeah, we're lucky that pretty much with Google, like, at this point, my plan is, so, like, the insurance company, sent us, like, an explanation of benefits. It's like, the hospital didn't explain what they were doing here, so you're not, you know, certified for inpatient stay. And I'm just sitting here going, you know what? Like, my experience with you guys is basically, like, I just wait, because if I wait, like, about a month, you figure out, like, 90% of all the billing problems you have without me doing anything else. So I'm not going to go and, like, freak out just because you said no, because 90% of the time, like, you are gonna fight at, like, bill the hospital for part of this. They're gonna refuse to pay that part because they did something different, and you two will work it out without me being involved. So, like, it's really a very big difference from earlier when I used to have, when we had United Healthcare for a year. That was terrible. It was constant fights. They wouldn't pay for anything, and other things like that. So overall, I'm pretty lucky being at Google that, you know, I don't have to worry much about, overall, like, what they're gonna pay. Like, sometimes it will probably be annoying and I'll have to argue with someone or do some paperwork or something like that, but I found that arguing in the first month is almost always a waste at this point. Just, like, it's annoying that there is that time period of, like, ugh, is this gonna be a fight or not? But I pretty much don't worry that I'm gonna have to pay for something out of pocket, so. I mean, Mr. 32, 4 megabits per second is, like, to stream or to play? Like, video games, like, playing multiplayer games takes almost no bandwidth. I mean, not none, like, but it's minimal. So I would not worry about that. But streaming is different. So the thing about streaming is that you're going to... Fuck. Hit a bunch of spikes and die. The problem with streaming is that you are, I mean, you're basically limited in what your upstream quality can be. So most of my streams, I stream at 3.5 megabits per second, and it's fine. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's fine. What do I have to do here? That? Okay. Okay, so... Oh. Oh god! The fuck is this? I'm like attacking these feet. Oh, Jess, they were just like, well, the hospital didn't get back to us, so you're not covered for inpatient stay for longer than, you know, like a day or something like that. So they weren't really specific about what they were looking for instead, but they were just like, it was basically just like, they didn't get back to us, so we're gonna deny you until, like, we get actual paperwork. Which is fine, like, if you just got a if you've just broken a bone or whatever, normally, like, that would normally be fine. You shouldn't need to stay in the hospital for, you know, 4 days just because you broke a toe. But obviously you did more than that, and they needed you to stay inpatient, so... I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do here. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Well, like I said, the insurance company will almost certainly figure it out, and if not, I'll call them and deal it, so... If I could understand what was wrong with you, Jess, we would live in a very different world. What am I supposed to do? Jump over these feet? Sure. I don't have a bill yet, I just have an EOB. explanation of benefits that says we're denying you coverage for this. Those usually come pretty quick. The bills will take forever. Well, and then sometimes they'll bill you for things like forever later. Like the hospital will bill for something in like, you know, like a year later, and it's like at one point I had coverage denied, and the reason that the coverage was denied was because they billed for something that was from, you know, I had a different insurance plan because I worked for a different company at the time, because they hadn't billed it for, you know, 9 months. So by the time they changed, it's like, well, this is freaking annoying. Like, no wonder you billed the wrong insurance. You billed the insurance I have now, not the insurance I had at the time, you know, a year ago. Stupid people. There we go. Jose, oh, stay at least 2 feet away. Toki's final quest takes him to the place of Miho's imprisonment, the Golden Palace. Skating across the bridge of this guarded domain, Toki must battle his greatest foe, Vukimedlo. Everything hangs in the balance. So when am I gonna play with my SNES Mini? I don't know. So I think next week I'm gonna do Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and I think that'll probably be a two stream game. So I'm gonna do that next Monday, and I'm going to do that on the following Monday, for Halloween, because it's one of the earliest games. This is like Toki and Zombies Ate My Neighbors are 2 of the earliest games in my, like, you know, game request form that I just never got around to. So I'm doing that. The only thing in the SNES Mini that I really, you know, can't play any other way is Star Fox. I've already streamed a bunch of the games from the SNES Mini. Like, you know, I've obviously done Mario World and other things like that. So I don't know if there's anything other than Star Fox 2 that's really like, oh yeah, I should do that on the SNES Mini. And honestly, I'm sure someone has ripped out the Star Fox ROM by now, so I could probably do that on the computer too. Save myself some heartache. Hello, Barbara! Not only is there a monkey, sponsors of the Chris Plays Games channel get the ability to use the CPG monkey emoji, a purple monkey with a wrench, because, you know, we all love purple monkeys. There you go. Chris GC8's throwing it out for us. Showing how it's done. Hello, Barbara! Oh, what the? That scene moves very weird. It's like the screen is moving at the same time you're moving. It's strange. One of your favorite streamers? I'm not your favorite streamer. There's so many better streamers out there. You got Gaming Lawyer, you got Brad Pritchard, you got Chris GC8. Although Chris GC8, have you streamed like in ages? I feel like you haven't streamed in ages. You got Stingray Gaming and Soybomb out there playing retro games every night of the week. We got people, so. It's all about the rants. Oh no! Wow, this is weird. Narcos playing the Evil Within 2. He said he really likes Evil Within 2. Despite his absolute hatred of Evil Within, he likes Evil Within 2. She doesn't like the copyright infringing emoji, Jose. I mean the fair use emoji. No, I mean, I love all of you, and I'm happy to have you all here, but I also realize that at the same time, I love streaming, and I love the community, and I love everything about it, but I also know that there's a ton of great streamers on the YouTube platform, and while I do my best to create an entertaining show for all of you here, I also know that there's lots of other people who create great content too, and I just don't want people to miss out on any of them, you know? Especially, you know, folks like Gaming Lawyer who only stream once a week. I know how hard it can be to build a community or a set of people who are going to watch you regularly if you're only able to stream once a week, and I really want to make sure that people get that kind of exposure and everything else, so. I see. No, there is no emoji. There is no spoon. I still need to do a better rant emoji. Like, I like the idea behind that one, but I should do something for myself, so. But I can't upload any, I can't change any emoji anymore because I lost my last sponsor. So I'm down to 19 sponsors, and that means that I can't change any of my emoji or I'll lose one of my slots. So I can ditch one of my emoji and update them, but I can't actually change them, change the ones I've got without losing one. Oh god. No, just, I don't want you in the room because I don't really like the idea of you riding around on your scooter and trying to get in here, especially because my couch is full of stuff, so you wouldn't be able to sit comfortably. Like, I'm worried about you destroying your leg, or foot, much more than I am about taking over my content. Oh god. Alright, we're gonna start back. A couple continues more. We're gonna pull out the cheating here. An important choice. The choice to cheat. Oh yeah, sure, Jess, I do. But I mean, the reality is I don't actually worry about you distracting my audience. I just worry that they'll like you better than they like me, which is understandable because you're cooler than I am. But, you know, and also they've heard all my stories, you know, they know the story of the Botswanan hooker the Botswanan hooker in South Africa, and they know the Pop-Tart story, and they know, you know, about me drowning in a lake in Montana or in Wyoming, so. Unfortunately, Mrs. CPG is currently laid up with illness and pain, and we know that too, and it makes us all sad. We want you to be better. Bounce on your head some. There we go. I love you both equally. I mean, frankly, if you love us both equally, it means that given like Jess's ratio of screen time to love, that she's going to, like, you know, be deserving of more of your love while she's on screen. I'm on screen all the time, she's on screen rarely, therefore, you know, your even love for her is distributed over a much smaller window and has to be shared. Yeah, how about we don't fly to hit a wall? I think I'm gonna go with that plan. Everyone's okay with that. Aha! I got you. Alright, let's see if we can do this skateboarding thing again. Fuck! Yeah, YouTube has pretty open and generous rules about content. We're just much less paternalistic than other platforms, which is something that I think is very important. I think it's very valuable. Kind of wish I grabbed that helmet, but I think if I take it, I die, so I'm kind of glad I didn't. Okay, so in this, I need to not press the arrows on those first jumps, because the scooter, the little skateboard just drives at the right speed, and so when I jump, I land back on it if I do nothing. I don't know if that's true over this jump to the next scooter, though. This is the hard one. Yeah, I have to move forward on that. Okay. Anyway. But yeah, Mrs. CPG has all kinds of different stories that she could probably tell you. I do need to pull out more of my rants. I haven't been publishing my rants because I feel bad making people like watch VOD content of mine because they didn't sign up for VOD content, and so I don't want to like overtake someone's subscription feed or their notifications or whatever else like that because I'm sitting here uploading VODs, so. Ah! That jump is freaking hard. Oh, you haven't heard my Botswana and Hooker story, Barb? Yeah, so when I was 24, I went to South Africa for a conference. And so I was there in Cape Town. So the conference was in Cape Town, and oh, there we go. I made it. And so yeah, so we were there in the conference in Cape Town, and one night we all like went out to a bar, and you know, as part of the conference, right? So it's a tech conference, and so you know, going out to a bar to drink afterwards, you know, is not that unusual. And so we go out, and I'm, you know, my normal talkative-y self, and I'm like, you know, hey, what's up, whatever. Okay, this wizard is gonna like take me out. What's going on here? Oh, fuck. I don't know why I thought that just standing there was going to be the right approach. And, so I'm like waiting for a drink, and at the bar, this, you know, woman walks up to me, and she's like, hey, you know, are you from out of town? And I'm like, yeah, I'm from, you know, United States. Like, I'm here for a conference, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, okay, you know, where are you staying? And I'm like, I'm staying at this, you know, this hotel. I'm staying at a hotel on the other side of town, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, okay, like, can you give me your room key? And I was like, what? I was like, I don't get it. Like, that she just asked me for my room key? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. And one of my coworkers looks at her and says, you're dude, she's a hooker. Like, she's a prostitute. She was trying to say, like, should I come back to your room? And I was like, oh, now it all makes sense. So yeah, I definitely did not realize that the woman from Botswana was attempting to pick me up in a bar in South Africa, because that's just the kind of guy I am. God damn it. Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, why is he here? Get out of here. I also had hookers try to pick me up in Berlin, and I was way too drunk to realize what was going on, so I was like with a group of other people, and so we like came out of this bar, and I was super drunk, like super drunker than I would get, probably drunker than I am in all but like 3 or 4 streams that I've done here. And I was like, all right, like, hey, like, so I was in a group, and I didn't know them very well because some of them were based in Berlin and I wasn't, and so like someone walks up to them and they're like, hey, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, no, shh, just stop talking. So I guess Ronneberger Strasse is the area of downtown Berlin that is where all the prostitution is, because prostitution is legal in Berlin, I think. And so yeah, so I was on a Ronneberger Strasse, and definitely had a hooker who walked up to our group pretty aggressively and did not like, luckily the group of people I was with knew what was going on and corrected the situation pretty quickly, but I had no idea. I was just like, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm so simple-minded. Oh, god damn it. Why would you make a video of yourself going around and disliking other channels? That seems really dumb. Does that like get people... Does it like get people excited? I don't know. I mean, it might, Soy Bomb. That would fix my concerns. Then I wouldn't have to figure out what to play next. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We're just gonna play this level. It's gonna be like the Lion King, where I played the last level for like an hour and 47 minutes. It's great. Yeah, so I've had prostitutes attempt to hit me up in Cape Town in South Africa, in Berlin. I think that's it. I did have, let's see, anything else? Nothing else in that vein. When I was in Switzerland, I did have like I was going to a restaurant and I was looking for a drink, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll have, you know, I ordered like a screwdriver or something like that because I didn't drink beer at the time, and I was in a part of Switzerland where they spoke French and I don't speak French, and the person I was with was talking to the waitress, and apparently the waitress asked, like, you know, is he old enough, or can I see ID, right? And so like I pull out my US passport and, you know, give it to her. I'm like, sure, you know, I'm used to getting carded because I'm like 23 at the time and I look, you know, the same way I do now, like 12. And so, you know, what do we got here? What's going on? Fuck. It's quite a grabby hand, I agree. I mean, this boss is clearly the major warlock who I'm supposed to be fighting against, so. Oh shit. Jesus Christ. And so, oh yeah, so she was like asking, like, okay, you know, what, you know, get your ID out. So I got my ID out, and then apparently, like, she asked the person I was with, in French, like, are you sure this is him? So apparently I looked so young that she didn't believe my US passport, which said I was like 22. And so I didn't realize how weird this was until like she walked away, and I was like, oh no, don't worry about it. Like I'm carded all the time. I'm used to it. She's like, no, you don't get it. Like in Switzerland, the drinking age is, what? Did I just fall through the ground and then back to the top? This is the 6th level. And she's like, no, you don't get it. This is Switzerland. Like, our drinking age is 16. And she just asked, like, if this US passport was fake. And I'm like, you know, if I'm gonna fake something, I feel like US passport is not the thing I'm gonna fake. I don't get it. I guess if you are in invincibility frames, you can just go right through the floor. So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I did warn that, you know, this game was basically going to be, I was going to play through it all, and then I was going to spend a long time on the last level, or that was a risk. So, you know, it's good to see that my intuition about these types of games isn't wrong. And this is a real problem. Like, finding a good difficulty ramp is extremely difficult, I understand. But it's really frustrating when a game just has this terrible, like, everything is super easy. Oh, and now it's really hard. Like, it's kind of shitty. Yeah, exactly, Nixie. Especially, like, and I was 22, like, not 12, and so, like, it's not, I don't know, like, but yeah, she's like, nobody gets carded in Switzerland, and she just asked if this is a real US passport. I'm like, oh, well, I guess that makes me feel better, somehow. I'm not sure how. Cuphead, actually, I think, has a pretty great, you know, with a couple exceptions. The robot level I spent a lot of time on and had a lot of trouble with. Like, other than that, you know, I'm pretty happy with that difficulty ramp. The first island is definitely a lot easier than the second island, and the second island is noticeably easier than the third island. The only problem that I have with Cuphead is really that, like, I went through it not realizing that I would need to be in the, like, that I would need to, in order to complete the game, I was gonna have to beat all the bosses on regular, which, I mean, yes, I like, whatever, but I didn't know I needed to, and so that was kind of frustrating that I had to go back and do a bunch of bosses that I already done on regular. Like, I kind of just thought those were 2 difficulty levels. I didn't realize that I was leaving out the last part of the game. So that frustrates me a little bit, but not a lot. I'm just, part of it is, I think, just that, you know, as a retro game player, I'm used to that type of abuse, so we can do more save state abuse, but I mean, we got plenty of time. Like I said, I got another 3 hours to kill. What's your rush? I just sit here, play some games, talk some stories. McLovin. Why do I've never seen this movie that the McLovin references, but people call me McLovin. Like, it's been going on since I was like 17. I don't know what it's about, but fucking hell. I mean, like, I don't think they're, like, there's like, simple and regular on every boss, and I was just playing through every boss on simple, not realizing that in order to get access to the final stage, you have to play on regular. And it's like, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it was difficult. Or it was annoying. Like, I don't mind the difficulty, I just didn't realize. I did figure it out before my second stream, but it meant that I spent a bunch of time, like, going back and beating older bosses. But honestly, like, I did pretty well on a lot of them. The real difficulty I had was that, like, playing the third island bosses on simple is a very different experience, especially the robot boss is just a very different experience than playing on regular. Like, there's just the last phase of the robot boss was just a killer for me, so. I should probably try and pick up, like, one of those extra weapons earlier in the level. Take care, Barb. Have a good night. Go home soon. It's late. You shouldn't be working. Work-life balance. It's a thing. Barb is a hard worker. She's trying to work hard for her money. So hard for it, honey. She works hard for the money. So hard for it, honey. Fuck. Oh god. Oh shit, I thought I could bounce off his head like I can bounce off all the other enemies. Apparently not. Grab your hand, grab your hand, grab your hand, grab your hand, grab your hand! Fuck, fuck, fuck! I do like that his, like, horn wraps around because, you know, sprites are hard. Fuck! It's not even his final form, is it? I did it! Yes! I did stream Cool Spot. Yes, absolutely. And I'm a human again! I'm back to Toki! Hello, mijo. Matus, that doesn't sound like a good work-life balance. Yes, Cool Spot is from 7-Up. Hello, Jared Shelton. I don't know how you got a peach blonde in caveman times. The evil forces have been conquered. Toki, the warrior, embraces his sweetheart, Miho, in his arm. Now that your quest as the hero character of the game is complete, you are certainly ready to fight through your life as a human being, making the best of the valuable experiences you acquired in the game. What a, come on, like, this is the best thing you could write? I mean, I realize that a lot of these games were developed in Japan, and there's issues with translation and everything else like that. But come on, that was garbage. I have no idea, Soy Bomb. Alright, that's it. What's next? Hello, hello, Bula. Bula Bula. Bula Bula. Bula Bula. Bula Bula. Bula Bula. Yeah, so this was the intro where my, like, girlfriend was stolen and then I got turned into a monkey. So, I guess ape, not monkey. Okay, so we're gonna pause this. What do we want to play? What do we want to play? I don't know. Hello, James Holder. Maybe we should just like, you know, end the stream early. I can go to bed, get some sleep. Oh, it's Monday night. Papers, Please is not not a thing. Not retro. That's the thing I was trying to say. Adventure Island. How do I not have Adventure Island? Adventure Island called something else? Does it have like a real name? A different name that I'm not thinking of. And I should have. Yeah, it's just called Adventure Island. Hudson's Adventure Island. Oh, fuck, that was not what I did. Yeah, looking retro is not the same as being retro. A game that looked retro was actually the original reason why. Alright, so we're gonna change this title. We beat Toki. Time to play Adventure Island. Adventure Island. 1986. Ooh baby, ooh baby. Anyway, yeah, so the original game that caused me to have the non-retro stream nights was actually Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight was a game that looked retro, but obviously was not retro, and there was pushback in the community. They said, this isn't a retro game, and that was all there was to it. So, here we are. Yeah, it's also like another caveman game, which is good too. Get out of here. Weird shell things. Alright, now I'm in land 2. Something. I'll skateboard. Oh god! Alright, we're good. Damn it. That didn't go well. Anyway, yeah, so, what was I saying? Was I saying something? Sometimes I say something. Oh, right, so the original reason that there is a retro night and a non-retro night was because the feedback from the community was like, hey, you promised us retro games, the Shovel Knight shit isn't a retro game, so I don't think I can get away with Papers, Please. God damn it. Oh, okay, well. No continues is gonna make this a little bit interesting, but we'll figure it out. No problems. Oh, I was hoping I could just bounce off their heads, but I guess not. I mean, no one has to listen to my advice. I think the only advice, I think that there is some community building advice I've given, which is interesting sometimes. I do think that I offer some you know, thoughts on Discovery that are interesting, but they're not that, you know, world-changing. You know, great content that has high demand and low supply is not exactly the most surprising advice in the state of the world. So I don't pretend to be an expert all that much, but yeah, I mean, we also talked about, you know, we've been talking for a year about some things around like discovery, you know, discovery, acquisition, and retention. Those are the three metrics which I have tried to kind of encourage people to move towards and think about. You know, how are people going to find your content? How are you going to keep people engaged with your content? And how do you keep people, you know, to stick around? How do you get subscribers and everything else like that? God the fuck. Hello, Luis M. Welcome, welcome. Wow, I suck at this game. It's alright. Alright. You're good. After the last game where the opening levels were so desperately simple that I just kind of rolled through them, I'm feeling stymied by the difficulty involved in Adventure Island. I do love Adventure Island. I remember, like, I never had this game as a kid, but I remember wanting it so bad just because, like, you got to throw hatchets and ride a skateboard. Like, that's super awesome. Like, that's just, like, the life I want to live for myself, so. Unfortunately, having never played it as a child means that I'm pretty bad at it, but, you know, whatever. The art reminds me a little bit of, like, some of the art and music actually reminds me a little bit of, DuckTales. Oh. Hello, frog. Change color when I hit you. Shit! Yes, hello, Louise M, and everybody else. I hope you are all having a lovely night. So many things that I think about during the week that I'm like, oh man, I really want to talk about this during my live stream, and then I get here and I'm like playing games and everything else like that, and I'm like, I can't remember any of it. I can't remember. I'm just gonna be boring. Oh, I don't know if I'd heard that about your brother, Nick. I'm sorry to hear that. Get out of here, frog. There we go! I beat the first level! It only took me 14 times. Whatever. Pot bonus? Oh my. Sounds like what Jose's getting right now. Area 1, round 2. Oh god. Let's not walk right into the water. Oh, let's just throw my skateboard in the water though. That seems like a good plan. Alright. So like Mario, this game feels a little bit faster if you just run throughout all of it. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but... There we go. No, or Chaos, there's no bitrate issues there. I haven't used it for much yet, just because I do everything on emulators for the most part, but I was actually considering, so one of the things I did was for for a year. I paid for the PS Direct service that lets you, like, you know, play games that are in the PlayStation thing on your PC because I wanted to play The Last of Us. And, like, I have a PS4. Like, it wasn't originally mine, but when my friend moved away, they were like, yeah, we never used it, just keep it. So I have a PS4, and rather than just buy the game for, like, you know, basically my thought was this, like, rather than buy the game for, like, you know, 50 bucks, I can just, like, pay $20 a month for this service, and I'll play the game and I'll beat it, and it'll only cost me 20 bucks, and I'm not gonna want to replay it that often, and I'll be able to do it on my PC, and it's gonna be great. It turns out that is not how it worked out. Instead, I paid $20 a month for the service for, you know, a year, never played the game. God damn it, I keep thinking I can jump on these things' head, but I did not. I cannot. So instead I paid all this money. I paid effectively, like, you know, $200 to play a game which I never played. And so yeah, but I've been considering buying The Last of Us on the PlayStation, and then hooking it up and doing that. But I also know that, like, realistically, like, it is impractical for me to stream The Last of Us. I don't put in enough streaming hours to make that a practical option. So, I do know that, but it's such a great game. So, hello, gaming lawyer. I am number 1, and number 2, and number 3, because it's all about me. That isn't really true. It's all about all of you. I'm nothing. Without you, I'm nothing.
Brian Wilson, Texas Lawhawk! Brian Wilson, the Texas Lawhawk! Hounds of justice! Due process! Do wheelies! It's hot out here! Brian Wilson! El Halcon de la Ley! Brian Wilson, the Texas Lawhawk!
Welcome to the stream, gaming lawyer. It's good to see you, as always. Oh god. Yeah, so I guess this game is designed for you to ride the skateboard, and the skateboard is fast, so I don't think it's, like, unintentional that you're designed to be, like, Sonic. Gotta go fast. But with no continues, this game would be a lot harder if it were not for the fact that I will cheat like nobody's business. So, we get a CPG cheat emoji up in the stream. That's what we want to have. I want to have some of that hardcore cheating action. Alright, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Alright, I can just run through things. Got it. Is it invincibility? Anyway, Adventure Island is actually, like, it's consecutive, it's concurrent with Mario. So there's a lot of things that are similar there, but it's not just a knockoff, so. Oh god. Damn it. Septipus is not a filthy liar. Septipus is a smart robot. I was gonna say man, but that didn't make sense. Well, that did not go well. Also, only a fool has himself for a client. Alright. Let's try and get through this first level with no deaths. I do kind of, I mean, the insta-death thing definitely gets to me a little bit. I realized that on Toki it was pretty much only, you know, 2 hits, but the difference between 1 hit and 2 hits is pretty major. That's something that ooh, nice. I guess I kind of, like, did something there. Get over here. Jumping and jumping. Jump, jive, and wail. Alright, get out of here. Gonna smash through you all. Woo! Yes! Alright, we're doing good. We got three lives. We're still on our skateboard. Which is good. Gonna keep us moving. Fuck, 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 fuck! God damn it. Anyway, yeah, what do we got? I'm trying to think of, like, any of the things that I think during the week. I really need to... So, it used to be for a long time, I would basically just keep a Word doc open all the time. And then, like, every time I had an idea, I would jot it down in the notes, and I would just have those up during the stream. And that would lead to a bunch of different notes that I took that were kind of like, oh, here's interesting things I can talk about, or whatever else like that. And I moved away from doing that, and I don't really know why. I don't know if, like, I found it was taking up too much time, or if I just, you know, don't. But I should probably go back to doing that. I think it would make me feel like I have more things to talk about. I just never want to keep anyone bored. I want everyone to always have something to talk about. I mean, right now, my mindset, of course, dominated by YouTube's brand safety efforts, so that's a big thing for me. Septopus is not secretly Nightbot. I mean, you can't ever really know. Just because Nightbot is developed by Knight, who is kind of a jerk, and Septopus is developed by Iopred, who is definitely not a jerk. That doesn't really tell you anything. Alright, what do we got going? What do we got going? Let's do it all. Let's go here. Oh, I don't know what this eggplant does, but... Thanks for the help, eggplant. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm gonna run out of time! Shit. Well, that did not go well. Yeah, so I guess you are supposed to go fast. I think that's what I've learned. That was dumb. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Like, I looked at it and I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work, and then I did it anyway. Oh, Brad, Knight's just a little, like, he's, I mean... He's a jerk in the same way that a lot of developers are jerks. You know, it's kind of like he's just he's strongly opinionated, uninterested in, you know, working with, I don't know. Trying to think of ways to put this. Generally speaking, he believes that everyone should have the information that he does, even if he's not, you know, giving it to you. He is, you know, relatively reticent to have conversations with anyone who he thinks is not, you know, working on the same level as him. He has been generally kind of like, you know, if you can't do it my way, then it's not worth doing at all, and other things like that. So, these are all traits that are not, like, the most uncommon among developers ever, and I don't find them surprising in any way, but, you know, it did make working with him or asking him questions sometimes difficult, because he would always just kind of be like, well, why don't you already know everything that I know, or other things like that. And not just to me, but like, you know, like, because I like, fine, I work for YouTube, I don't get any special privileges here, but like to other people on Discord who would ask him questions, his response was always be just, you know, very snippish was the impression that I got from them. Now he works on Discord as like a Discord developer, and so hopefully he's... he kind of fell out of the community after that, and so Nightbot just keeps kind of quietly running and hopefully mostly works, and I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do there. Yes, the fruit does restore time. You are 100% correct, Nick. I mean, describing yourself as definitely not a robot sounds like the exact kind of thing that a robot would do if it didn't want to be caught out as being a robot. So, I don't know. Seems like maybe this could just be a trap. I don't remember. Does the what is this? So the 3 laws of robotics are a human or a robot may not harm a human being or through an action allow a human being to come to harm. The second is basically a robot must always protect a human. No, a robot must always listen to a human, so they cannot disobey a human. And the third law was that a robot may not allow itself to come to harm, you know, modulo those 2 other laws. God damn it, seriously? So there's nothing that says a robot can't lie, although if you told a robot to tell the truth, it would presumably have to tell the truth unless it could convince itself for some reason that telling you the truth was going to cause you harm in some way as a human. Susan Calvin, the first robo-psychologist as described in Isaac Asimov novels, was constantly investigating various cases where robots got locked into basically, you know, hard locks because they faced unresolvable conflicts under the 3 laws of robotics, where, you know, a human would say, you know, you must disassemble yourself, and run into the fact that, you know, yes, this was a second law requirement, but the third law potential there was there, or, you know, a human being would tell a robot, please tell me the truth, but the robot could tell that it would cause damage to the human psyche and would therefore, you know, not tell the truth, and other things like that. So, most of the time, these types of failures would cause the robots to become, you know, permanently damaged, and they would no longer be able to recover or operate. But sometimes Susan Calvin will be able to understand the situation and bring them back. I mean, I don't trust robots, period. If there's one thing that I've learned about robots, it's that they're not to be trusted. In fact, every robot I've ever seen in action always has, like, giant warnings around it that basically says, don't trust the robot. And as Mark has firmly established, rule number 1 of the robots is please don't give them knives. Unfortunately, something routinely... What? I missed something there. Try this again. Try this again. We're gonna do better this time. Protect me, eggplant. I'm gonna need your help. I don't know what you can protect me from, but shit! God damn it. Oh, so the eggplant is bad? That's not good. I want good things, not bad things. I think my HP just drains all the time though, doesn't it? Or does the eggplant make it drain faster? Although maybe it seems like my health doesn't go away when I'm on the skateboard? No, it goes down on the skateboard too. Let's jump over that eggplant. I don't trust it anymore. Oh yeah! That's right. Oh god! Okay, that was good. It's not quite how I wanted it, but alright. It really bothers me when I end up like leaving an egg behind as I go that's, you know, right as I walk by and I'm like, oh shit, too late! Oh god damn it. Fuck. Thought I could make it, I could not. I want my freaking axe back. Okay. Yeah, so don't give the robots knives. Don't teach the robots how to attack you, I feel like is also a thing. You know, don't accidentally through software teach the robot that your hand is the enemy. That seems like a good piece of advice for dealing with robots as well. What other things would I say? I don't know. Overall, like, the vision of robotics that persisted through kind of 1960s sci-fi seems unlikely to ever come to pass because we've gone an entirely different direction. I don't think we're going to go the humanoid robot route. It's just never going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see how things actually turn out and look as we explore the future. I guess positronic brain. I wonder if positronic brains. I mean, it feels to me like positronic brains basically are describing an electronic version of a version of something like a neural net, right? So the AI aspects of the Asimov world are kind of there. We're just implementing them on general purpose hardware for the most part. I guess like a TensorFlow TPU is sort of like a positronic brain of some sort in that sense. I mean, it's not like a positronic brains were ever like a firmly defined idea. They were clearly just a plot device, because the interesting parts of the story weren't about the physical layout or the science behind the sci-fi. They were about the society and everything else like that, at least in Asimov's mind. Alright, what do we got here? Don't go through things. Uh-oh, I'm out of health or something. Oh shit. So this is the guy I can't figure out how to beat. God damn it. Oh, okay. I thought that music meant, like, that I was running out of time, but no, it just means I'm coming up to a boss. Shit, shit, shit! I don't know. I think I just gotta hit him in the head. Let's see if I can find out how to beat this guy. Shit! Fuck! Did not figure out how to beat him. Yeah, I mean, it is true that many of us have weaknesses in our head, on top of all of our other weaknesses. My weakness is in my, I have so many. I have so many. Oh, it is 11 o'clock. Thank you very much for that, Chris GC8. So at 11 o'clock, of course, we have the CPG rant of the evening. Tonight's CPG rant of the evening is about medical caregivers. So sit back, relax. I'm going to say check in on Miss CPG, and I'll be back momentarily. So here you go. The lack of consistent access to formal caregivers for the chronically disabled is atrocious in this country. I'm the Chris who plays games, and this is your CPG rant of the evening. Whether your disability is temporary or permanent, the fact that it is so difficult to get access to formal caregiving support in this country is atrocious. The costs for a normal formal caregiver setup are so high as to be prohibitive for all but the most well-off. And at the same time, the costs, the benefit, everything about the situation is negatively affected by lack of coverage under health insurance plans, refusal to consider these treatment services as covered, and other things like that, that mean that chronically disabled patients are stuck traipsing along with a mishmash of informal caregiving and formal caregiving that leaves patients worse off. For years, I watched as my father-in-law suffered under a network of caregivers who were not able to be there for him and do the things that needed to be done. For years, I watched as his wife did so much of his caregiving because establishing formal relationships with caregivers is so difficult. For years, I watched this. And while over time we did establish relationships with a formal-ish caregiver network that was able to take care and meet his needs, the reality is that without the means that he had available to him, which are not available to the vast majority of people in this country, there's no way he could have gone through what he did. There's no way he could have stayed at home. There's no way he could have died in his bed like he wanted to. Because it just would not have been possible. As we continue to negatively affect the healthcare options in this country, as Donald Trump this week works to cut off cost-sharing reductions and destabilize the insurance market, causing premiums to increase by 20%, while signing away the access to healthcare, to required healthcare benefits for millions. As we sink ourselves deeper and deeper into debt for no reason other than the word Obama is attached to a law. It's worth noting that even under the systems we have today, there are so many gaps in coverage and so many gaps that are important to people being treated that these people suffer. Left, right, and center. Jessica, as I've mentioned, is undergoing a temporary limitation to her mobility. And I'm thankful that I have access to a healthcare plan that provides for extensive coverage of pretty much everything, because Google's pretty great about that. I'm lucky to have that. But at the same time, I realize there are so many more who can't do that. And there are so many more who would have to suffer in silence and in pain and in difficulty because an informal caregiver network would not exist and a formal caregiver network would be out of reach. While there are caregiver services in the area, they oftentimes won't do things that are necessary, like deliver medication to people who are bedbound, because of the legal risks associated with it. And so what you get is a patchy quilt work of care that doesn't provide for what's needed. Or where caregivers have to work under the table, not working under, regulated systems in order to avoid the limitations that are placed on them in order to provide good care for their patients. At the same time, we're seeing Medicare changes. We're seeing the proposals to move to block grants that will reduce the money available to patients who need treatments. We're seeing constant changes in our healthcare plans that are designed to hurt the worst and unluckiest and most needy among us. The ones who are suffering the most will lose out the most. Because the moves we're making around healthcare are not about, in any way, attempting to create a better healthcare experience. They're not about trying to help more people. They're just about killing Obamacare. And as we look around and see the hits to all of the disability services, all of the other services that are out there, as we see cutbacks in every one of the departments, as we see the attempted dismantling of the requirements under the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, as we see companies who have had 25 years to implement the regulations that they have been working under and claim that it's not possible, and see our current administration try to push those things back, all I can do is wonder what would happen if I couldn't provide those services. What would happen if I couldn't take the time off to help Jess fly across the country? What would happen if she was still stuck in that hospital? What would happen if she was still stuck somewhere else? What would happen if I was not able to take time off and help take her to her doctor's appointment? What would happen? The amount to which a single helping hand can make a huge difference to someone who's mobility impaired is massive. And the amount of care that elderly people need as they grow older is massive too. The number of children caring for their elderly parents that suffer from mental health problems and other things like that, from the constant strain of being on call for someone who can't take care of themselves, the massive strain that is put on relationships and families because formal caregiver networks are not available or unaffordable for the vast majority of Americans, the problems that are caused by a patchy mishmash of care, oftentimes arranged at long distances as children try to take care of elderly parents, is atrocious. Long-term disability care, long-term chronic illness, long-term things like this demand the need for a formal network of long-term caregivers. And as we move away to strip away the rights to healthcare, to destroy them, as we move away from required healthcare services, everything from birth control to everything else, as we move away from healthcare plans that work to protect people to healthcare plans that put money in the pockets of billionaires, as we move away from a system that could be fixed to one that will be destroyed, all because of some petulant, petty bullshit? All I can think is what will happen to those who can't afford their resources? What will happen to people who can't afford their mobility aids? What will happen to people who can't afford their caregivers? What will happen to those people? Long-term disability and chronic illness benefit from ongoing formal caregiver networks. These networks are almost never available to the extent that they're needed, and yet we work to strip them away even more. Fuck that. I'm the Chris who plays games. This is your CPG rant of the evening. Welcome back. To the basics of life. Welcome back to milk. Anyway, that wasn't really great because I don't actually know a whole lot about that topic, and I didn't do as well as I should have. But having been lucky enough to have someone who could afford to build a semi-formal caregiver network while admittedly limited in its scope, as well as having a a job that has allowed me to take part in a lot of caregiving activities. I just did ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, and that basically meant that once or twice a week, excuse me, I would have to take her to the hospital and she would be sedated and everything else like that, and I basically just had to work from home those days for years, or for months. I did it without notice. I did it, and these are the types of things where I wasn't doing anything in particular. I was just being around for, whatever she happened to need because she wasn't able to provide for herself. And that's something that, having a caregiver support network to do would have been great. But I was lucky enough that at least I had a job that allowed me to take time off. I had a boss who was, helpful and everything else like that, which most people just don't have any of those things. And by comparison, I've been very lucky, but I worry about all those people who are not as lucky, who need that type of care and can't get it. So oh, this is a thing that Chris GC8 actually probably has some opinions on. Oh god. Ooh. Oh god. Alright, his head fell off. Cool. Oh, that was dumb. Yep. I mean, that was for Jess's dad. The issue was like giving medications is difficult, right? So you have to be specifically trained for that, and it's like they're in a pill sorter. All I need you to do is like, I'm gonna sort them into the pill sorter. All I want you to do is like, when it's time, you grind them up and you put them in the stupid milkshake that he drinks through a feeding tube. That's it. And it's like, nope, can't do it. And it's like, oh, seriously? Like, nope. Can't touch medications at all because I'm not a trained, nurse or whatever. It's like, I don't need you to do anything, just this. And so, for her dad, we worked with a group of people who were able to provide that service, but, it's not easy. Oh, goddamn. Okay. Okay, we're good. Oh! Oh god! Damn it. Yeah. I mean, which is I mean, the agencies are doing what is the right thing under the law, but we just, like, the law doesn't really match the reality of the lived experience of many people, right? So, I appreciate that, people try and go above and beyond, but I also understand why the agencies are taking a more conservative approach, and it suggests that we need, better networks of caregivers, better networks of healthcare training, more people who are able to do these jobs, more supply, and more supply to a significant extent comes from larger ability to pay for those things. As it is now, like many elderly people are supported by their, you know, personal informal support networks, and those things are very difficult to maintain and underpaid and everything else like that. So this comes back down to, you know, looking at the elderly care, looking at personal health care as a whole picture that we have to solve that is much bigger than just, you know, is birth control covered or anything else like that. So I agree, Brad. It really does. I also looked at like a long play and the person took like 55 minutes to beat it without dying. So I don't think I'm gonna beat this game tonight. There's a question of like, do I don't know. I'm thinking I might stop early tonight. It might just be stream till midnight. Instead of my usual 1:15. Hello, Oni. Yours and many others, you know, Oni. Like that's a thing. Like it's a huge thing. I was, you know, in some senses, I think, you know, lucky, but at the same time, like Jess's mom helped take care of her dad largely without any support for years. You know, she did the Hoyer lift, she did everything else like that on her own for years, and with no help, with no anything else like that, because, you know, he wasn't comfortable with the outside help. And so, you know, it took years for us to convince her, like, you need someone else in that house besides you and him. That's it. Yep. Yeah, and we basically knew that if Jess's dad had anything, you know, medically go wrong, if he'd had to go into the hospital for anything, it's likely they wouldn't have let him come home. You know, they would have said, you know, no, you can't go back there, because he was just not in any shape to do self-care. He was not in any shape to really be at home, but that's where he wanted to be. And so, especially, you know, when his wife was alive, that was obviously and understandably where he wanted to be, but even afterwards, you know, it was still important to him. He didn't want to go to hospitals, because hospitals are where people die, so. Health. Fucking health. Fuck! Brad, I'm not sure that you have any dignity to die with, so I wouldn't worry about it. Oh, so Gaming Lawyer, I was actually thinking about you this weekend. I was listening to 99% Invisible. I'm Roman Mars. And they were doing a piece about Skid Row in LA. So Skid Row was a deliberately contained area designed to kind of protect a set of living arrangements for kind of the underprivileged communities in LA. So in the 1970s, as the entire area was gentrifying, they basically, like, you know, some civic organizers got together and basically said, like, hey, we're gonna try and, you know, because the developers all wanted to take Skid Row and develop it into condos and everything else like that. And so some activists got together and said, like, we don't want to do that, so here's the plan. We're going to take Skid Row in LA, which is like this 50-block long area, and we're going to make it, we're gonna put everything there. We're gonna make it, you know, we're gonna have benches, we're gonna have all these other things, then we're gonna have buffer zones on the edges of it where people will get to the edges and they won't feel as comfortable, so they will, you know, stay in their place. And we're gonna move like all the services for homeless people and everything else like that into that space. Now, as someone who's watched The Wire, of course I'm aware of Amsterdam, the plan by the police to kind of force all drug dealing to one zone, and you know, both the positive and negative consequences of that, and other things like that. But as I was listening to the Skid Row story, the containment story sounded very familiar to me. I was like, this is just season 3 of The Wire all over again. This is really, you know, oh god, interesting story. So Brad, this was the description. I don't know, I could be I don't know. But yeah, so it's still there today. Apparently they're now kind of facing, the containment plan was created in the 70s, and it's held through to today, but they have, as developers have kind of grown more interested in the region, and the containment plan, which was never like a formal plan, but just kind of like a, you know, handshake agreement, developers are getting antsy to kind of develop some of that area to take some of that out. So the fear at the time was basically that they were going to take down all the single occupancy housing, aka like hostels and everything else like that, and replace it with, you know, non like high-end condos, and get rid of all of the low, you know, budget, low rent housing that was there. And so now the developers basically want to do the same thing again, and it seems likely that they may succeed at this point, which is kind of, you know, I will be, I mean, I don't know that much about it, but seems, it to me, it's always bad to lose access to, you know, some form of low-income housing. Of course, a lot of this has been dying since Reagan in the 80s, where really destroying the welfare system was important, so. Flophouse, there you go, sorry, whatever. Hostels I have one of the more negative views than I should have them. But yes, like a Flophouse. Low-end hotellery. Take care, Chris GC8. No, she didn't refuse. She said that she would like to have access to take some non-zombie bone as well. Yes. In order to rebuild Jess's foot, they will likely have to, you know, integrate some zombie into her. So they'll take bone from a cadaver in order to try and rebuild her foot. Fucking hell. I think you're all a bunch of weirdos. I'm on fire. All things in moderation. Yeah, I am. I don't know. I don't know. These things aren't things I know. I don't know things. Remember, I grew up in the suburbs. We don't have these things. We kept all the poor people out via redlining and you know, other terrible practices for a long time. So I am a product of the racist and classist heritage from which I was raised. Oh god! Shit. Yes! Extra life! I had kind of like maybe this thought that was gonna work out, but I wasn't sure. But it's nice that I did. Alright. I don't think there are any riding dinosaurs in this game. You know, humans and dinosaurs weren't actually alive at the same time, right? I don't know why these flowers are here. Oh, god damn it. Alright, we're good. All's well. No problems. And I am very sure that even if humans and dinosaurs were alive at the same time, humans and skateboards and dinosaurs were not. No, I think you are right, Brad, that there are in other Adventure Island games, just not in this one. I don't know why that, like, I don't know what that flower does. My cat is very cranky at me, and I don't know why. Oh, I didn't mean to restore this one, I meant to restore that one. Take care, Jess. I think I'll bail a little bit early. We'll bail about 30 minutes. So 35 minutes more of this game. We'll see how far we get and carry on from there. This Friday, I will be playing Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is the second version of the Mirror's Edge game, parkour, the game that I played earlier. I've heard good things about it, and so a lot of the people who came by for my Mirror's Edge game were like, why aren't you playing Catalyst? So I'm going to give it a shot. Like I said, Zombies Ate My Neighbors next Monday and the Monday after, going through some of my old game recommendations, and it seemed like a good one because that's coming up towards Halloween. Zombies seem like a good thing. It's true. Zombies ate my neighbors. That's all there is to it. Alright, what do we got? Bring it on. I'll take you all on. Oh god, okay, we're good. Damn it. Alright, no problem. Just keep on running. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. What? Ugh. Yeah. I'm not convinced I should dive into something like StarCraft 64. I know you've said that a number of times, but I don't even know what rolling is. I just sing the words. I say the words that come into my head. That's all I can do. Oh, right. I was like, why am I so tired? Like, what is up with this? And then I remembered that I, like, fell asleep, like 2 hours later than I usually do last night for no good reason. And then I had to get up early because it was therapy day, so I had to, like, get moving early and everything else like that. So, it should not actually be a surprise to me that I'm tired. I'm surprised it took me this long to remember that, so, yeah. That's, I'm good. All's well. I'm just like trying to examine my own behavior and I'm like, what is wrong with me? It's been a stressful few weeks. Oh, I was kind of amused. So earlier today, so there was one of the YouTube lawyers put some time on my calendar. And generally when a lawyer puts time on my calendar, it's because I've said something that pisses off the lawyers and they want to talk to me about it. And so I was like, oh shit. And so like, originally she put it and then like Jess like busted up her foot and I was like, oh god, like, you know, she really wants to talk to me, but I'm gonna be not back in the office and blah, blah, blah. I was like, can I move this to next week? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So I'm like, okay, clearly I'm not fired or she would be more aggressive about this. She grabbed me today and she's like, so here's the thing I want to know. And the meeting title was like, quick complaints thing. And she was like, here's the thing I want to know, like we have this thing that we're trying to understand, like, does it affect users? And I wanted to know, like, when users complain, what happens to it? Like, where does that information go? And I tried to ask the engineering team I'm working with, and they were like, we don't know, you should ask Chris. And I was like, all right. So apparently an entire engineering team doesn't know how our feedback system works, but anyway, so I explained, you know, so every page, pretty much every page on YouTube and every page, every app and everything else like that has the ability to submit feedback, and all of that information is submitted into a system that we manage it internally with, and so, you know, we can look at the 90,000 pieces of feedback that users submit on YouTube every day, and you can break it down, and usually what we actually do is that we have a team whose job it is to kind of sort through all that. So they use, you know, automatic translation, and they have teams who go through and categorize that feedback into different categories. And usually what would happen is that those categories would then be aggregated by a product specialist, someone whose job it is to kind of, you know, review these things. And sometimes they do quarterly reports, and sometimes they do, you know, routine, you know, calls to look for new issues, or they may have rules that, like, you know, if this category of content of feedback spikes by more than this %, then file a bug so we can make sure it's different. And, you know, I've been noticing recently on Reddit a bunch of users complaining about, you know, black screen but the audio continues, and historically this is basically on the web player just been an issue of ad block. As YouTube invents new, you know, ad technologies, the elements and everything else like that change, and the ad blockers have to adapt in order to not block the video content. And so this is really common, is that like an ad blocker will block the video content when we come up with a new ad, you know, thing. And so I looked at the category, I'm like, so you can see that on this date, this spiked, which probably means that, you know, we rolled out an experiment to do new ad types and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, wow. But yeah, I was just amused that apparently, like, some team that I know nothing about and that I've never heard of has so little understanding of how YouTube's feedback system works that their only way of, like, understanding what, you know, happens when users complain was to talk to me. Which was like, I mean, I appreciate the kind of like, oh, like, you know, you clearly are doing something good for the company sense, but at the same time, I'm like, that's not, like, I have a job and that's not it, so I guess I don't know what that means that I should do. Well, yeah, the other thing, Brad, is that I had just had a conversation, like, you know, like 2 hours before I had that conversation scheduled by her, I had a conversation with another YouTube lawyer about something, and so, you know, I had this on my brain already, and I was like, oh no, what did I do wrong this time? So. Oh god! Fuck, fuck, fuck! We're good. All's well! Frogs! God damn it. Okay, well. God damn it. Yeah, I feel like save state harder is all I can do at this point. Yeah. So in The Wire, that would be the McNulty story. What the fuck did I do? But with me, I pretty much always know I've done something wrong. It's just a question of what. So, like, I thought it was going to be a sync that was like, so we're getting some complaints from people that you're commenting on this particular topic on Reddit. Can you please not? Or something along those lines. But no, it was just like, I need to understand what happens when users complain. Like, do we pay attention to any of that? Like, and I was like, well, you know, so we have when creators complain, they will oftentimes complain through creator support or through Twitter and Reddit and other things like that. And we have teams that read Twitter and social channels and respond to them sometimes and don't sometimes and blah, blah, blah. And we also have, yeah, so we have creator support, we have the Team YouTube Twitter account, we have, you know, we have our direct partner management, you know, stuff, and then we have our feedback, which is kind of designed to collect feedback from viewers and other, like, non-monetizing creators and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the feedback, a lot of it ends up being things like, you know, oh, I was, you know, this or that happened, and it's like, you know, feedback is not actually designed on YouTube to be a two-way communication channel, which I think we should do more of. Like, I wish that we were more aggressive about, you know, following up with creators, especially on things that we fixed, which we try to do when we know, like, when users complain about a bug and then we know we fixed the bug, we'll try and tell them that it's fixed. But there's so many things that just break on YouTube that are like, it's because you have a shitty extension installed, and we can't tell that, and, you know, we'll think we solved the problem when in fact you're still broken, and it, you know, being told it's fixed when it's not is probably a worse experience by far than being told it's, like, not being told it is fixed when it is. But it is kind of shitty that we can't do more kind of social outreach to those people. But I also realize, you know, 90,000 pieces of feedback a day makes it a little bit hard to kind of follow up with all of them, especially because you just can't fix every bug. I wish that we could, but I also just know that there's a lot of things that we won't, and some things that are intentional and therefore not bugs, but we're not in a position to communicate that to people or other things like that. So I don't know. It's a constant, you know, it's part of the constant picture that I look at for, you know, how do we better improve our relationships with creators. You know, earlier today I was talking to someone who, I was reading a Reddit post, and you know, someone was like, oh, do you think that this video got less, you know, placement in search and discovery because it has no ads? And someone replied and said, you know, like, well, there's been a lot of, like, big creators saying that, you know, the no ad state affects your placement in search and discovery, and it would be wise of YouTube to counteract that myth if it's, you know, not true. And I said, like, look, the problem here is that, like, it's a complex system, and there's a correlation there that if, you know, X happens, then you will both, you know, see your recommendations go down and your video will not be, you know, monetized. Like, both of those things will happen. But if I can't tell you what X is, and all I say to you is that it's not really the ads, it's something else, but it's a secret thing that I can't tell you, then you're not going to be convinced by that, right? And so, like, trying to convince you without, like, a full disclosure is a problem, and for whatever reason we've decided full disclosure is not acceptable here. So, like, what can I do? And I actually have an understanding of why full disclosure isn't acceptable either, but yeah, season 5 is the worst. Like, just ignore season 5. Never watch season 5 of The Wire. And it wasn't just McNulty. Like, McNulty's a fuck up. Like, you get that. But, like, there is no way that, oh god. Freeman. There's no way that Freeman would fake a serial killer. Like, there's just no way. I'm actually watching, so the new show that I'm watching on HBO is The Deuce, which is also a David Simon show, right? And it's pretty good. I like it so far. It's about, like, pornography in New York in the 1970s. Pornography and prostitution, I guess. Fuck. Well, it's because remote desktop makes you actually log into a new session, doesn't it? Like, VNC won't work, but remote desktop will? I don't know. Windows computers they don't make sense to me, so I'm probably saying stupid things. Fuck! Hell! I hate those goddamn frogs! I don't know what I'm supposed to do to get around them, but clearly I haven't managed it yet. Christ. Alright, so my goal at this point is just to beat this goddamn level. Oh, Chrome remote desktop. Got it. CRD. Yeah, I don't know so much about that. Down, 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 jump, jump. Frogs! Frogs down. No! Dumb. I'm disappointed Cowdale's in here. We can't talk about Gold Rush. I watched Gold Rush this weekend. I also watched Lace Up, so those who follow me on Twitter might have noticed my review of Lace Up, which is like, if you dig reality TV, it's produced by the same producers as America's Next Top Model, and it feels very much like a Bravo reality TV show. Like, as someone who loved Top Chef, as someone who loves reality TV, it's great. It's just as if I was watching, like, a real TV, quote unquote. I guess Susan was interviewed by some industry podcast recently about how, you know, having just like one tentpole show is not really going to work for YouTube, because with an audience of 1.5 billion users, you know, we really need to be exploring beyond that. Of course, she didn't really mention the fact that, like, YouTube Red is only available in, like, you know, 3 countries or something like that, so our audience is actually probably much smaller than, well, not much smaller, but, you know, our potential audience for YouTube Red is probably, you know, fewer people than Netflix. So the argument about, like, oh, we can't just do one show is like, I mean, yeah, you can't, I don't disagree with you, but for this particular service of, like, you know, I'd like to fill out Red content a little bit more, it feels like actually that's exactly what you can do. But, you know, I don't sit close enough to Susan to argue with her. Fuck! So Nixie, there's so my feeling on the YouTube Red exclusive content is basically like YouTube Red originals. They're basically in their 3rd season now. There was season 1 was things like Bad Internet. Season 2 was things like Minefield, and season 3 is things like Lace Up. And the difference between those 3 seasons of content is like, you know, it's clearly on an exponential curve of like, you know, investment and quality. Bad Internet felt like a kind of, you know, like College Humor on steroids. I mean, it was produced by College Humor, but it felt like a, you know, a standard YouTube web series on steroids. And then when you got into, you know, like Minefield felt like, you know, kind of like a halfway in between YouTube and cable TV. You know, things like the types of shows that are on History Channel and other things like that that are a little bit silly, but still, you know, watchable. And then I think season 3 is very much at the cable TV, you know, Bravo style of content generation. Hello, Narcost, Mike Yale the Gamer, HS1996, Claire. Thank you very much, Nar Bombers. We can get a hat spin from all the sponsors in the chat for those Narbomb folks. Hello, Half Black Hero and Lady Kitty Unicorn. Long time no see. Megnong and Loading, etc., etc. I'm not like what is it? Do I look like this guy? Do I like? Am I shirtless? I'm not shirtless right now. I'm shirtless sometimes, but not right now. There we go. We got the hat spin emoji. Welcome, Raiders. Zio Kim, it's good to see you. Hello, LJ Artistic Intentions. My live journal was not full of artistic intentions. Instead, it was full of dramatic emo whining. We actually did one stream where I actually just read entries from my old live journal and said, oh no, why did I think that was okay? Like, why did I think that my ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend should be okay with me, like, you know, hanging out and, you know, watching movies with my ex-girlfriend when he wasn't around? And oh man, god damn, you're so ugh. I mean, it's not a hat, it's a helmet. I'm not wearing a helmet. I got no risks here of helmeting. Like a Narbomb. Hello, Keith Roska. How am I doing? I'm tired. I fell asleep late last night. It's been a hard week because Mrs. CPG's foot is broken. And so she's needed a lot of help with a variety of things. I have not felt productive since I got back to work after picking her up from Illinois, so... You did, Zio Kim. It was short. I did not realize how short it was going to be, unfortunately. I did remember that you were very interested in it, but unfortunately I just could not... I couldn't make it last. I barely did any cheating at all, and I still made it to the end boss in, like, you know, an hour and a half, so... Yeah, so Narcost, I guess I didn't actually bring this up to you, but I was actually, Jess was stuck in Illinois for 5 days. She was stuck at Resurrection Hospital right near O'Hare. So I was out there on the weekend because I was going to my nephew's birthday party, and then she broke her foot, and then she had to stay in the hospital until I could, so she was supposed to have surgery on Monday, but they couldn't do the surgery, so they just relocated her joints and then sent her on her way on Tuesday, and we flew back on Wednesday. It was supposed to be a 36-hour trip. Turns out that at the end of 24 hours there was a trip, but it wasn't back to Illinois. It was down a set of concrete stairs, so... I was so, you know, there was actually, like, no good time for anyone to visit her. Like, my brother lives, like, you know, 3 blocks away, and just between, like, before Monday, she was in so much pain, and then after Monday, she was, you know, they tried to do the surgery, and then Tuesday she was like learning how to do PT and move around, and we just like got home into the hotel and she just crashed. So if there was a time, I would have reached out, but there was just never a good time. Brad Pritchard is here. Oh god. Oh, Narcost, you know we love you. We all love the Narcost. Oh god. Ah. But yeah, we're gonna be wrapping up early tonight. I as a result of my general lack of sleep, fuck. I walk right into fires. As a result of my general lack of sleep, I'm pretty worn out, and so we beat Toki earlier tonight. We're gonna see if we can maybe squeeze one more level out of Adventure Island, and then we'll call it a night. Well, where are you looking, LJ Artistic Intentions? Are you saying that I don't show up in your live from my subs feed on YouTube Gaming? Are you saying that I don't show up in your homepage on YouTube where recommendations live? Are you saying I don't show up in your notifications? You know, who knows? Who knows? I don't. No, I don't want to turn on filter keys. Go away. I don't know why you were asking me that, but I don't care about you. Alright. All of those could have potentially different reasons, and I don't know which you mean. I know that sometimes people are like, why people say people use all kinds of weird words to describe things, and I'm like, you say this word, but the thing you're describing can't apply to that word. People are like, why did I get notified of this on my homepage? Or, you know, why on mobile did this show up, you know, here, there, everywhere? And I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to ask because it doesn't make sense to me. Haha, I killed you. That's right. I did kill you, blue things. Oh, frogs. I hate frogs, I hate frogs. Thank you very much, Zio Kim, for subscribing. Were you not subscribed before? Oh god. Knew that was gonna happen. Everything. Everything. Well, here's the trick, LJ Artistic Intentions. What you really want to do is that you want to hit the subscribe button. I don't know if you're looking at me in gaming or in not gaming. If you're looking in gaming, it's a little bit harder because you don't get any notification. There's no like notification bell on the gaming web app like there is on desktop, on main app. So I personally, for people that I never want to miss, the thing that I do is I subscribe to them in the main YouTube app. And because I'm in YouTube all day, every day, that way I just see it in the bell icon in the upper right. I never have to have my phone charged. I never have to make sure I'm logged into the right account or anything. I mean, because I'm always logged into the right account on my browser. Like if I am logged out on my phone or anything else like that, I'm not going to have problems. So that's my approach. I mean, everyone has to do what works best for them, but for me, notifications, YouTube main app, bell icon, that's the trick for me. For other people, it will be, I mean, the other thing that I do is that I do subscribe to a lot of channels in the gaming app, and I'll use gaming.youtube.com/live. And when I use gaming.youtube.com/live, then that's going to be, you know, live streams from everyone I'm subscribed to. I've seen that fail a couple times, but it's pretty rare. And so, you know, that would be the other thing I would look at. But I know a lot of times people expect a channel just to show up in their homepage or their recommended feed just because it's live, and that isn't actually how it works. You know, it's really much more, you know, your home feed or your recommended feed or other things like that are much more based on other things. The other thing, of course, you can look at is the subscription feed in the main app in YouTube, because that's going to have, you know, should have live streams from everyone you're subscribed to. The only exception was, I guess there was like late delivery of content for like 9 days, because like some service fell over or something like that, and so for 9 days it was basically like subscriptions were delivered late. So gotcha. I mean, if you are subscribed to me in YouTube Gaming, and right now I don't show up on gaming.youtube.com/live, then it's a bug. Take a screenshot and let me know. Send me, you know, hit me up on Twitter, or my Discord link is in the description below. Hit me up on Discord. I don't think I'm in Nar's Discord, but I might be. You know, at me on any Discord I'm at. You know, give me a screenshot and some details, and I'll look into it. Always happy to help. Yeah, I mean, take a screenshot. I mean, the other thing you can do, like, you know, the easiest way to know every time I'm gonna stream is just be in my Discord and don't turn off everyone. I'm the only person who can everyone things, and the only thing that I everyone is live stream announcements. So if you ever want to know when I'm streaming, just like being in my Discord will always work. You got no YouTube weirdness. All you got is relying on me, and I about 98% of my streams I get that Discord link going in there. So you'll get a little push notification to your phone. You can turn off everything else and just listen to the announcements channel. That's all you need. All you need is love. Ba-ba-da-da-da. All you need is love. Ba-ba-da-da-da. I am Brad, you know when I stream. I mean, that's the other thing, right? Is I stream at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Mondays and Fridays. Always, always, always. Like, I will every now and then throw in a stream, extra stream. I will every now and then, you know, have a slightly different time. I think I was probably 45 minutes late on my last Friday stream because I was in Illinois. These are things that happen, but for the most part, I'm gonna be here every Monday and Friday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So you don't need to look for me. You just need to add it to your calendar, put it on your schedule. You know, put a notification on your phone. 9:15 p.m. Friday, 9:15 p.m. Wednesday. CPG streaming here on YouTube. The YouTubes. God damn it! Fucking shit nuggets. Now, with people who have less regular streaming schedules, I can understand that you need to, you know, have ways to find them and everything else like that. But with me, no challenge. 9:15 p.m. Monday, 9:15 p.m. Wednesday. Here I am. Fuck! Okay, we're good. All well. All's well. Oh god. Does something just like poke its head out of that rock at me? Oh god. Was that my imagination? Yeah, it's like a weird carrot popping out of that rock. Okay. Just dodge the carrot! Oh, it's just like a normal, like, fruit carrot to increase my time. Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. Jeez Louise, this game's freaking impossible. Like, I cannot imagine... Like, I know you get some extra lives, but, like, beating this game without save states is freaking crazy. Like, save stating every 12 seconds here. I mean, I guess probably you get used to it at some point, the same way I can beat Super Mario Brothers pretty easily at this point, but... Oh, I hopped when I should not have hopped. Fuck! Yeah, I mean, the difficulty here is that, you know, Rubik's Cubes have an algorithm that you can use and have a process that you can follow, and a total number of moves that you need to make for a Rubik's Cube is, I don't know, probably no more than, like, 50 to 100? Probably even less most of the time, depending on how you count a move or whatever. So compare that to this, where, like, I've got to be constantly making moves for like 50 minutes, and that's a pretty different story, you know. Like there's a lot more to it there. There we go. Yeah, it's true. True, Nick. His strats are bad, Brad, but that's kind of true of most video game bosses. They are clearly not optimizing for ideal strats. Anyway, so now we're... Oh, this level actually looks different. Check it out. I was like, now we're going to be back to another place that we've already been again, but this one at least is a slightly different color, so there's that. Anyway, I am going to get to bed, though. I appreciate you all hanging out. I appreciate folks who came at the Narbonne raid. Let's see if I've got anyone on. I'm ending early, so maybe we'll be able to catch somebody I usually can't catch online, and drop a community on them to say hello. Teach you to see someone new. I don't know what Splatterhouse is. That sounds bloody. I'm like I'm big on the bloody. All right, what do we got? We got that. We'll go with. We're gonna go see Born Depressed. So stop by, say hi to Born Depressed, and we'll go from there. I'll be back on Friday. We're gonna play Mirror's Edge Catalyst on Friday. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. And Narbomb, Narcost, all you folks, it's great to see you as always. I hope to see you on Friday again. Mirror's Edge Catalyst Friday. Zombies Ate My Neighbors next week. Have a lovely night. And if you've got time, stop by with Born Depressed and say hello. CPG raid. There we go. Thank you all. Have a great night. Bye.